It's us. Oh my goodness, that's loud. Woo. It is the Slanted Sandwich.
Yeah.
We're your hosts, Lauren and
Babe.
Bob.
Babe.
Baby Bob.
Welcome to the show. It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a good show. We always have good shows. Sometimes it's harder to find articles, but for the most part, you know, I realized of the last, 2 years practically of doing the show, it seems like the weirder stuff always happens during the summer. It's just like the heat starts getting everyone weird. News, everything.
Yep.
Anyways, well.
It's getting weird.
So this morning, I had a big eye roll because the news, I mean, I was like looking up articles for today, and I've got the Associated Press app, which they're like the first to come out with anything that happens in the world. I really like them. And all of a sudden, bam, 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 I kept getting notifications of about Trump and Putin and just how they're denying everything. And I just have a big eye roll to all of it, because you're talking to people who are liars, and
hey, how do you know if a politician is lying? If their lips are moving.
Right. There you go. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Well, there you go. And, you're talking about Putin here and Trump. Yeah, I'm just going to say, you can ask if somebody was involved in something and they can easily say no. It's so easy. So easy. Anyways, Bob, what are you doing?
I'm doing a show. Radio show.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Researching all the articles I looked up today. Huh?
Bracken news.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to that later in the show. But so I wanted to share something that happened to me over the weekend. Bob, I haven't even gotten to catch up with you on this. So I was looking through my emails, and I've noticed over the past, I don't know, I get a lot of junk in my email. I have to clear it out once or twice a year. It's just so bad. And I've tried several ways to filtering out all the nonsense, but it's just not working. And anyways, I kept seeing these Amazon reviews being confirmed, and I'm bad, y'all. I don't leave reviews that often on Amazon. And so I'm thinking somebody is using my Amazon account to make reviews. And so I started looking at every single one of those reviews. And somehow I am leaving the best reviews for things that range from cell phone screen cases to ear pods to all this technical stuff. And then there was mice poison and dish towels. I'm like, what is going on? And so I am so infuriated by all of this. So what I did is I went into Photoshop and I created a little picture, and I put on that picture, I said, be advised, I am not the buyer of this product, and I'm very disappointed in Amazon for letting this happen. Someone's using my account to give themselves positive purchase reviews.
Ooh.
And so I made a little upload. So I went and I could edit every single one of these reviews. So I went and I put 1 star on every single one of these reviews. And then I copy and pasted the statement don't use my account for leaving positive reviews. So maybe, anyways. So I don't know if it's Amazon, and I don't know if it was somebody I had a previous purchase with that I know I've left a couple bad reviews in my past. And it was after I made those bad reviews that I started getting all this email about reviews. And so I'm like, someone's upset with me, so I'm going to get back at them. And then, Amazon has to review the reviews you make or edit. And every single one of them came back saying, you're being biased. We can't approve your review. I'm like, I don't care. Somebody saw this and now they know, like, that I know that most of the reviews you get on Amazon is a bunch of BS. And I'm pretty sure most of us have a hunch that that's going on Amazon. So what I've started doing is I started looking at the negative reviews to get a better grip on, or to get a better grasp on actually how the product is. Because so many times I've bought things based on good reviews from Amazon, and I'm like, who in the world would ever give this a good review? And so I ended up changing my password, and we'll see if those reviews stop coming in that I supposedly made. So if y'all are out there, y'all check your email and see if someone's leaving Amazon reviews under your name, because I am so mad at Amazon right now. And I'm pregnant. We have one of the headquarters or one of the distribution centers here, and I'm just going to go up there one day and be like, what are y'all doing? All right, Bob, I need you to interact with me.
All right. Well, I'm working on interact. I'm sorry that thing happened with Amazon.
Yeah. Well, you're an eBay user. Does that stuff happen through eBay?
Amazon, eBay, whatever, all of it.
Are you?
I'm on them interwebs.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really dated show in like 10 years. I'm like, what is eBay?
It's already starting Amazon? To get that way. No, I'm kidding. I've bought some pretty good stuff off eBay. I will give it credit.
The problem is there's still not enough people on eBay. Well, everybody needs it. It's your garage sale. You got to do it.
I'm almost going to favor it to Amazon. I do, actually, at this point, considering how angry I am about all that happening. Anyways, enough. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox. Bob, how about, do you want to get on the soapbox? Do you have any beef going on in your life?
Yeah, I got plenty of beef.
Thank you, but we're not allowed. It's okay. There's no sugar in pastries.
So, yeah, I'm over here talking, and Bob's on his phone doodling around. We can't do that. We can't do that.
This is important. This is very important.
So are leaving false Amazon reviews.
Have you ever left a bad review of your own?
Yes.
Yeah?
I was just saying, like, all those positive Amazon reviews, the flood that I got in my email happened after I left 2 bad reviews. One about a printer and one about a printer cartridge. So anybody out there shopping for printers, get it from Office Depot. Don't get it through Amazon, because it's going to come in faulty. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my beef. Bob, what's your beef?
Well, I don't know. There's all this stuff going on in the world.
Sure. Yeah. Liars.
There's liars.
Liars on Amazon
liars.
leaving fake reviews.
Yeah.
That's kind of the hot topic for me right now. But
one time I left a bad review.
One time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it must have really irked you.
Yeah. I was at Dairy Queen.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to get that fried jalapeno burger. And I was like, I really don't want the sauce. That sauce y'all put on there, like the mayonnaise sauce. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And then the girl's like, it was like her first day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the employee behind her,
mm-hmm.
she just like, look, she looked at me and goes, put mayonnaise on it. And she snapped her fingers like that. And I was like, no mayonnaise. No, I don't want mayonnaise. Make sure that no mayonnaise is on there. Is it understood? Like, I just don't want I don't want the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And so I waited, like, for some reason, this like took like 15 minutes to make this thing. And when I got it, there was mayonnaise. And I totally left a bad review over that. I was like, nope, nobody.
Well, that would make me angry.
And my review was like, nobody requests mayonnaise. Nobody wants mayonnaise. If the person's talking about mayonnaise, they probably don't like it.
I'm actually a mayo fan. I will say that. I'm sorry.
God,
yeah.
Are you ruining you? It's your fault. It's your fault. You're the one requesting mayonnaise.
No, Mason loves mayo. You think I like it? Oh my God, he puts it on everything. I think he's even put it on a hot dog once.
No, I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like it. I don't get mayonnaise.
Well, that's your culture. That's your tribe. You're in a mustard tribe or something.
I'm in the mustard tribe.
That's
mustard,
fine.
Yeah.
You know, I like both.
Hey, what did Jesus say? He said, no better spice exists than mustard. That's what Jesus, from the horse of the mouth. He didn't say mayonnaise. Jesus had nothing to say about mayonnaise. He was not
it
a
didn't
fan.
exist back then. It's a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny because, the people who don't like mayo, it's like they vehemently hate it. Like they are so against it. Whereas like people
most of the time in my life when I'm really dissatisfied with a restaurant is because I request not to have mayonnaise on and they put excessive mayonnaise on there.
It's like they spite you, right?
Yeah, it's like, how dare you ask not for mayonnaise? And no, the first time it happened to me, I went to the Bakehouse in Austin. It was the first and last time I ever went to that restaurant. And I said, I would not like mayonnaise. I do not want mayonnaise on the burger. I was like a kid. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had a long time to not like mayonnaise.
Yeah. You're born that way.
When the burger showed up, there was extra mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
Extra mayonnaise. They put more mayonnaise than the normal amount.
Have you tried just saying mustard only, please?
I don't know why regular English won't work. I do not want mayonnaise. That should work.
Well, but it's like you meet people who don't like mustard, and they're like, I'm not a big fan of mustard.
That would be one of those.
But when you meet people who don't like mayo, they're like, ew, no, get it far away from me. It's just like, it's just
all
funny.
I'm saying is if I was on a rubber raft floating on the ocean, and a box of mayonnaise I was starving, and a box of mayonnaise packets came off of the crashed plane that I just got off. I'm on a rubber raft.
That would be your luck.
And there's like a box of floating mayonnaise headed my direction. I'm like, oh wait, it says food on it. And I open the box and I discover it's mayonnaise. I would just be like, well, I guess I'm going to die. I mean, I can't eat this.
That's a pretty good illustration of how much you hate it. It's life or death.
Like this ruins the food that I'm trying to eat. I don't like it.
Oh my gosh.
It started even before that with my grandma because she would make tuna fish sandwiches. She'd put so much mayonnaise on it.
Oh, yeah.
She'd put so much mayonnaise on it. And then I'd be like, oh, God, mayonnaise. It's like eating a mayonnaise sandwich. Ugh.
Oh, man.
Don't like it.
Bob hates mayo at length.
This is, no time for mayonnaise.
All right, y'all. We'll be right back.
What makes this true community radio? KZSM expresses San Marcos in all its beauty, diversity, and quirkiness. We have shows about food and about feminism, about wrestling, books, movies, politics, veterans, sports, and aliens. And all kinds of music, reggae, heavy metal, oldies on vinyl, and local live bands live in the studio. It's like Texas weather. If you don't like it, stay tuned. It'll change. Our programming is produced entirely by volunteers using donated equipment, assisted by dedication, imagination, and love. But those don't pay the rent, the electric bill, or our other expenses, which is where you come in. Please find the donate button right there on the webpage and help sustain this true community that we all share.
All right, we're back with the Slanted Sandwich. Y'all, donate, please. Can't stress that enough.
So what do you think? Do you think that sugar turns kids into flaming maniacs?
I was reading that. Well, let's talk about that here in a second. Let's get through our first article, and then we can talk about what happened this morning. Okay. Central Texas archaeologists find ancient artifacts dating back 20,000 years. And actually, I think it was Todd Allman, who I interviewed for the Cosm podcast I was doing, mentioned that we're looking at even 26,000 years ago, which even just 1,000 years ago is mind-boggling, plus 6,000 years ago. So anyways, so San Marcos, this is from KView, San Marcos, Texas. Archaeologists at Texas State University say there have been people living in Central Texas for tens of thousands of years. In fact, they believe they may have discovered the oldest civilization in North America right here at home. We can't just say people were here 8 or 10,000 years. That's it, said Nancy Velchoff, co-principal investigator for the Galt School of Archaeological Research. She said people have been living here a lot longer than what we've thought. This research is about breaking time barriers, and the group is digging deeper to find the start of civilization in America. While we're digging, one of the first points we came across was this tiny spear that dates back to almost 20,000 years, Velkoff said. A set of sharp tools were found at the Galt Archaeological Site about 40 miles north of Austin. The group said these findings could be the earliest signs of human existence in North America. The question we're still trying to answer is when did people get here and what route did they take, Velkoff said.
All of the routes.
Researchers are now using this data to piece together civilization at the possibility of living in Central Texas for thousands of years. Just being able to find that evidence is really thrilling for us, Dr. Tom Williams said. I'm going to put you on mute, Bob.
Oh.
Just being able to find that evidence is really thrilling for us, Dr. Tom Williams said. One of the oldest tools that dates back to almost 20,000 years will be made public. If you're interested in checking it out, you'll be able to see it at the Bullock, Texas State History Museum. Juan L. Rodriguez from KView states on Twitter, remember learning about the group of people who crossed the ice barrier to get to America? Group of archaeologists based at Texas State University say we've been teaching this wrong.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so have you ever heard of the Younger Dryas?
Well, so we were just talking about that the last show, and you know what? I listened to Dr. Shock, or whatever his name is, on Joe Rogan. Sock. I think it's Sock. Sock. Okay. And he was they were kind of briefly talking about that and how they're thinking the sun, that there's linguistical evidence all over that clues into, some kind of disaster, that involved flooding. And now they're saying that maybe it was caused by solar flares, solar activity that spurred like lightning strikes and storms all over the place. And so, and that's kind of ties into this whole theory of the Younger Dryas, right?
Well, the Younger Dryas is a comet or asteroid that hit the ice in North America at around, Canada and great, I don't know, just a little west of the Great Lakes, maybe. Mm-hmm. So, when a comet hits ice and it's just blowing glaciers everywhere, and the glaciers are just destroying everything, then and that happened 12,900 years before present.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything happening before that is really destroyed. It's just giant chunks of glaciers just running it over. They're like a mile, 2 miles high. Mm-hmm. Running over whatever you made. So you could have pyramids. Imagine a 2 mile high glacier just going after the Giza pyramid. Yeah. It would wipe it. It would be nothing left. It would just wipe it into oblivion. It would tumble and roll and just crush everything in its path. Mm-hmm. Right? So how would you know? How would you know if there was anything that happened in North America really prior to 12,900 years ago? That's like a disaster on a scale that on a magnitude of chaos that you can't even comprehend. So yeah, if you find something that's 20,000 years old, you're very lucky to find anything before 12,900 years ago.
Yeah.
All the megafauna went extinct. They didn't go extinct in Africa. It didn't get hit by a comet. But in North America, they all suddenly went extinct. And then it's replacing the overhunting hypothesis.
Well, they were talking about the weathering on the Sphinx and how that this time period, there was even weathering and flooding, going on around the Sphinx. And that kind of tied into all of this. This was just Dr. Schoch's idea.
I have an idea about the Sphinx.
Oh, what's that?
There's actually several different sphinxes. You ever heard of the Balochistan Sphinx? Mm-mm. Well, that one is a temple complex that is so old and so degraded that there's a debate over whether or not it's even a sphinx.
Oh,
it's that old.
It's just real old. Okay.
So you really, it's like it's so decayed that there's even a debate that it's even a site. I believe it is. I believe it looks very much like a site. I think it looks like the carved Petra. I think it's got all the telltale signs of it being a site. It has a sphinx on top. It's in the right area between India, which has sphinxes, Egypt, which has sphinxes. It implies that whole area was connected at one point. And as a temple complex, it's very much like the ones in India.
Sure.
So it just was destroyed. And then the other thing is that like saber-toothed tigers, like all the megafauna went extinct. Like that's not overhunting. Nobody kills everything, right? Like, nobody like hunted the saber-toothed tigers to extinction. Nobody hunted the stuff that's like dire wolves, like giant predators. Like, what are they really that hungry? Like, kill, like, no, you're not gonna do that. That's something different. That's like a disaster. And that's one of the things that Randall Carlson was talking about. He's like, he was saying, I don't know. It makes the most sense. Okay, and it's like if it hits ice, it's not like you have a nice, pretty little Tunguska asteroid, little Tunguska comet to study, where everything's pretty. It hit dry land, everything's nice and tight. And you can measure things, and you can like take samples in this nice little tight little neat little sample. No, you don't get that. You hit a brick of ice, and then the ice melted and carried away. It cleaned itself. It cleaned the evidence of So how are you gonna? And then that caused fires. There's like fires. It was like a dozen different comets that hit. And our planet passes through. That's
definitely one of the theories for sure.
Our planet passes through the toroid comet or asteroid stream. Like the toroid. There's a bunch of matter that we pass through. Our Earth passes through this stream. And every time we pass through the stream, we get a bunch of comets that mess things up.
Yeah. So tell me about what you were talking about this morning. We're going to switch topics here. I briefly read it. And I will just say for the record, I'll have to disagree because it's not always, sometimes it really is just the character of the kid. No matter how clean their diet is. Well, I know because I have one.
You know how like dabs are like cannabis extract? Yeah. And you take like, a whole big plant of cannabis and you condense that down to its, most concentrated form. Well, you don't think sugar's like any different than that? You don't think like sugar's like the dabs?
Well, let's give kind of a background of what we're talking about here. What happened? So our listeners know. Act like it's a big deal. Like, my niece, whatever, ate a bunch of high fructose corn syrup, maple syrup on her pancakes, and she started getting real hyper. Okay. And then people are going to debate and say, there's no provable evidence. Oh, of course, sugar.
Like, you're going to debunk?
No.
What are you debunking?
You give a
my
kid,
niece just went
any
crazy,
kid, sugar, they're going to go hyper. That's just what they do. It's carbohydrates. When you're older, it doesn't really apply that well. When you're younger, it just sets you off like wildfire.
Yeah. I just think like fruit, like the sugar, the amount of sugar that you get from fruit compared to like how
even fruit. Watermelon's the worst for you.
Watermelon?
Hands down, because I'm diabetic, and if I eat the two worst things that I could eat for me that would kill me are cereal, not pancakes, cereal, and watermelon.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. I mean, even fruit. You can eat a lot of fruit and get a lot of carbohydrates from it.
Fructose, if you're concentrating the stuff that gives you energy from fruits, and it's like eating, I don't know, the sugar of a dozen apples in one drink, in one bowl of cereal, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting that much sugar.
Yeah.
I think people are debating the effects of like a concentrate, like the dabs of nature, nature's sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll be back, y'all.
KZSM, your true community radio station, is now an official collection point for the Hays County Food Bank. Bring your non-perishable food items to our studio located at 216 North Guadalupe and place them in the green food bank barrel outside our studio door. Or you may stop by the Kissing Alley or our booth at the Farmers Market every Saturday morning.
At Hays County Food Bank, we believe that everyone deserves adequate access to nutritious food. Families shouldn't choose between paying rent and paying for groceries. Parents shouldn't skip meals just to ensure that their children can eat. There's plenty of food to go around. We envision a well-nourished community, but we cannot get there alone. We provide food for an average of 1,500 households a week through direct distributions and through other local partner agencies serving low-income individuals. On average, 15,000 pounds of food goes out in 1 week, which means we always need your help. So we ask you to remember your local food bank all year round. Donate food, donate money, or donate time. Visit www.haysfoodbank.org and join the fight to end hunger here. Thank you.
All right, we're back with the Slanted Sandwich, and you heard it.
You heard it here first.
Please donate to either to KZSM or to the Hays County Food Bank.
Mm-hmm.
If you have anything.
The views expressed on the Slanted Sandwich are not a reflection.
They don't apply to SMTX, CRA,
or its affiliates.
Yeah. We're terrible at this. Oh my god.
There's supposed to be a thing we're supposed to read.
Yeah, I can't find it anywhere.
You get the drift.
Yeah, we own what we say. It has so if you don't like what you say, if you're a diehard Trump supporter and you're like, these liberal, I can't stand it. You can complain if you want, but but we own what we say. It has nothing to do with KZSM or its governing bodies. Okay. All right. Okay. So.
Sugar. Sugar. That's what we're talking about. It's like sugar making you hyperactive.
Well, I mean, we could keep talking about that. Or...
I don't know. You asked me about it, so I'm talking about it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think that some kids are just born that way. Like, we're all on the spectrum. And that's the autism spectrum. We are all on the spectrum.
You don't think that they say we're all on the spectrum, like, to get people thinking in terms of accepting like a chemical poisoning from just like massive chemical cocktails that were given kids, and then that messes them up, and then they go, we're all on the spectrum.
No.
Like, I think that we were talking about that is like really weird.
Well, no, Waylon.
You know what? I'm not autistic. I'm not on that spectrum.
You might not.
I know
be.
what I've met autistic people. My mom worked with autistic people.
I'm just saying.
I'm not autistic.
Like,
I'm not a part of that spectrum.
But see, I was diagnosed with ADD, not ADHD, which is the flip side. I'm a daydreamer. You know, I just get lost in thought. I have a hard time cleaning my house. I have a hard time staying organized, and it's because I'm in thought. And you know, I got my degree in psychology, and I truly believe that some kids just are born a little bit wired a little differently, just like we're all wired differently.
We're probably just part of an alien hybridization project, and they just keep tweaking our genes.
I do think that sugar plays a huge part in people thinking their kid might have it, but if your kid is having a clean diet, then your kid's just wired differently, and that's like Waylon.
I mean, then you'd go to like discipline, like the kid's not receiving discipline, and he doesn't understand that there's a consequence for your misbehavior. I mean, there's a trail that you can follow, and
yeah, we could get into that. I don't know. I can't completely agree with you.
Dismissing like behavior, like you don't think that's just dismissing poor behavior of like a kid's messing up. Oh, he's just wired differently. Like you don't think that's kind of like shucking the responsibilities.
Okay, you have a niece, and I understand. But
yeah, that's the same thing as having a kid.
When you become a parent, it's
I have
just
a
very
kid
different.
that I watch, you know, like a bunch of the days of the week, you know, like it's not the same. See, that's about dismissive too. Like you're dismissing my parenting. You're dismissing my parenting, my uncling.
I think.
Why are you dismissing my uncling? Nobody believes me. Nobody thinks I know anything about kids.
I don't. I just think that we are wired differently, Bob, and I can't explain it. I don't think that parents who have kids who are ADD, I think they try to avoid giving them sugar. Actually, if you give a kid caffeine, if you give an ADHD kid caffeine, it actually helps them focus. Like they give them milk coffee in the mornings, they focus. So coffee isn't always bad for kids. I'm just saying.
I'm saying caffeine's probably better than sugar.
I'm not saying put sugar in it, but put milk. Milk has a higher fat content.
Here, kid, have some caffeine.
It has a little bit of
like
natural carbohydrate in it, but it's not like you're dumping a bunch of sugar in their coffee.
Wasn't that the thing that we were just talking about how caffeine's like doesn't stunt your growth and everything we know about caffeine?
We have this whole packet to get through.
Let's do it.
And we need to get on it.
Going.
Okay. Trump's Space Force could expose U.S. military's black projects, claiming top UFO researcher. Let's see. Claims top UFO researcher. This is from the International Business Times. Donald Trump, the U.S. president, has recently ordered the military to establish a new branch named Space Force, which, most of us are aware of. During his speech delivered at the meeting of the National Space Council at the White House, the president made it clear that the sole purpose of the new force is to ensure the country's dominance in space. But UFO researcher Tyler Glockner has now put forward a different theory about Trump's Space Force. In a recent video uploaded to his YouTube channel, Secure Team 10, Glockner says that Trump's plans could expose a number of black projects run by the U.S. military. As Glockner made these claims, many people argue that Trump's move is aimed at psychologically preparing the general public to accept the real facts behind the existence of aliens. I don't know for sure here. They even argue that an alien invasion, is imminent, and this is the major reason behind Trump's decision to launch Space Force. There are a lot of people in the U.S. government who are extremely against the Space Force. It makes me wonder why. My main thought is there has long been a theory of a secret space program that is vastly more advanced than anything we could imagine. So people in the military will be against the idea of creating a Space Force because one already exists.
What they do, they go like this, they go, psst, we already got one.
Yeah.
Like that's what the whole thing is about. Like we're gonna do a space force. Psst.
These missions continue to be funded by Black Project dollars, said Glockner in the video. In addition, Glockner also talked about Solar Warden, an alleged space program run by the U.S. with the help of United Nations. As per conspiracy theorists, there has been a fleet of spaceships in the solar system safeguarding Earth from alien invasion And this fleet of human-made security ships are known as Solar Wardens.
Yeah, Solar
I'm
Wardens.
almost done. The Secure Team 10 video, which was uploaded on Tuesday, has already racked up over 3 million views. And spectators were quick to share their thoughts on the assumptions made by Tyler Glockner. And he says, I'm glad you touched on this. Mainstream media and a lot of other media type channels have kind of pushed this to the side when there's a lot of info that needs to be told to the public in regards to this Space Force. So anyways.
That's what Corey Good, you know that gay?
Corey Good?
How do you not know Corey Good? He's the guy who was part of the Secret Space program, and he talks to David Wilcox, and he's talking about the
I
whole thing.
can't buy David Wilcox. He just gives me a bad taste in my mouth. I can't
David
watch
Wilcox.
him. He's just got.
I know.
Maybe it's his forehead. I don't know.
He's got a forehead a lot like my forehead. And
I know.
if you go through life with a giant forehead, it's going to be rough.
But you are more sensical than
Like
David
the cone
Wilcox, I
heads
think.
versus the blunt skulls.
I don't know. I think about like if I was ever roommates with David Wilcox, I think I might go crazy. I don't know.
The only thing that really bugs me about David Wilcox is that he's got such a religious slant on it. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about the law of one, and he's just like a fanatic of this book, and he just everything relates to the law of
I kind of
one.
have to,
And it's like, man, I just the facts, ma'am.
How does Corey Good come into all this?
Well, he was part of the secret space program.
Oh.
The whole thing
I'll have
about
to do research on him. I haven't heard about him yet. I mean, I know it's been a while since I've delved deep into any of that recently. So, and maybe I have heard of him. I just need a refresher. But anyways.
Well, anyway, the whole thing with the secret space program is that it's been in existence for a long time, and we have a breakaway civilization. It ties all the way back to the Nazis when they invented, and then they went to the moon. They set up some bases there, and then they set up another base on Mars. Like basically, they just colonized different parts of the solar system.
Mars.
And they're already a breakaway group that's already doing their thing. Yeah, Mars. The planet. And
Yeah, I know, but I'm just. I could maybe buy the moon, but I don't know if I can buy Mars.
why not Mars?
I guess because it is
Mars
so,
seems more habitable than the moon.
I do. I understand.
Ugh. I would hate to live on the moon.
It's so
Mars is
gray.
almost like Earth if you knew what you were doing.
Just a little redder.
You could, poop in a pot and make a potato there. But the moon, ugh.
No, I get it. There's at least an atmosphere on Mars, but you can't breathe it.
Mars used to be habited. It used to be like Earth.
Yeah.
Something
No,
happened.
I buy that.
Something happened to Mars.
Well, maybe it was those solar flares. All right, y'all.
Darn tootin'.
We'll be back.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Hey, rise and shine, Buttercups, and let's talk baseball. Tune in early every Saturday morning to the 643 with Richard and Jeremiah from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we talk everything about America's favorite pastime. From the Texas Rangers to your recently crowned world champion Houston Astros to the Round Rock Express and our Texas State Bobcats and Texas Longhorns. Only on your true community radio station, kzsm.org.
Okay, we're back with a slanted sandwich. I think Bob went to go get coffee, so I'm going to jump into this article. Okay, Danish man. So this came from Reuters, and this stood out to me because, well, it's a Danish man. It's just surprising. Whoa. Okay, Danish man charged with starting destructive Colorado wildfire. This is from Reuters. Jesper Jorgensen, 52, was advised of the felony charges in Costilla County Court via a telephone hookup from the county jail where he was being held on a $50,000 bond for igniting the Spring Creek fire in southern Colorado on June 27th. The blaze has scorched nearly 108,000 acres.
So he's an arsonist?
Yes, from the Netherlands, yes. And this Sangre de Cristo Mountains, although wetter weather and mild temperatures this week have followed crews to carve containment lines around 83% of the fire by Thursday afternoon. It's probably pretty close to be out by now. Fire managers earlier said more than 130 homes had been reduced to ash. Jorgensen's court-appointed attorney did not immediately respond. Let's see. Jorgensen told investigators that he thought a fire he lit for cooking while camping in the area was extinguished, but the next day he saw a fire burning the tinder, dry brush 20 feet away from his camper. Jorgensen was in the United States on a visa which had expired and was living in the country illegally, the police affidavit said.
See, this whole time we thought it was illegal Mexicans, and it turns out it's that illegal Danish guy that slipped through the cracks.
Gosh.
Extreme betting on these Danish people.
Right, he slipped through the cracks, living in the forest.
I'll tell you what, the last terrorist that came through Mexico was Pancho Villa. You know what I mean? We're way too concerned with the Mexicans. We need to worry about there's only two things that bug me.
I'm pretty
One
sure
is
this guy was white.
People are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the other is the Dutch.
They're whiter than white. Like they're almost translucent. They're so pale. But yeah.
Always catching things on fire.
The Danish arsonist.
Danish arsonist. Yeah, I thought about this the other day. The firefighters. There's like arsonist firefighters. Like that's just like
It's like
part
they're
of
secretly setting fires so they can set it out.
I think that's the perfect thing. I think that's the perfect thing. I think we need to seek the arsonist in our living amongst us.
Just like we need to attack the politicians that are causing the problems.
No, well, yeah, but they get them and then go, hey, buddy, come here. I see you playing with your matches. Just come over here, buddy. Hey, you want to play with a flamethrower? And they go, yeah. Give me a flamethrower. Okay,
They're wagging their tail.
Yeah, catch that pile on fire, and then these other guys are gonna put it out. And you just give the arsonist something to do. You just give them something to do. You hire them. You go, look, buddy. You're okay. You're about to be around a bunch of people who will put out your fires, and you get to start them all day long. It's your job now. And you just put them to work. You put the arsonist to work. You give that guy a fire department badge, and you let him start fires, in a context. He wants to start fires. That's all he wants to do. He's an arsonist. You give him a job. You just give him a job. It's that easy. Think about it.
That's what they were born to do, right?
Right.
Okay, here's a new one. Another one. Stormy Daniels was arrested for allegedly slapping undercover police officers with her breasts. This is from Vice.
Undercovers?
Vice News.
How are they undercover? They're like
under the covers. Yeah,
undercover.
you know it.
Yeah. Undercover. Get it?
Stormy Daniels was arrested at an Ohio strip club on Thursday in what her lawyer is calling a politically motivated setup. Daniels,
it is. That sounds like a politically motivated setup. She's a high-profile person who took this job to pay for her court fees or whatever her lawyer bills.
She's out there pinning people who work for the government just so she can go up there and slap them with their boobs.
Everybody in that room was an undercover cop. Do you know how high-profile she is? Do you know, she took on the president. What do you think the chances are that every single person in that room wasn't an undercover? I bet you... I would be willing to bet. I would put money on it that every single person in that room was an undercover cop. I bet you there was the whole thing was just like, okay, just give it a minute. She's gonna do something. She's gonna do something. She's gonna do something. Ah, she slapped her with the boob. Get her. Everybody. I bet you the entire place was just chock full of undercover cops.
Okay.
And she was stripping for a whole bunch of undercover cops. That's what I think. I got my money on that.
Okay.
Not to make her paranoid or anything, but I think that she's kind of.
In Ohio, it's illegal for anyone who isn't a family member to touch a semi-nude dancer, despite the law being rarely enforced. And undercover officers just happened to be at the club to witness Daniels' alleged behavior and allegedly bear some of it. Daniels was arrested and charged with 3 misdemeanor counts of illegally sexually oriented activity along with 2 other dancers, according to WSYX, WTTE, and Columbus.
Crime of the century.
In a series, I know.
Crime of the
I'm
century.
surprised the Associated Press
was
didn't
some
pick this one up.
boob
While
slapping
performing
happening.
Wednesday night, Daniels, wearing a G-string, removed her top and began forcing the faces of the patrons into her chest and using her bare breasts to smack the patrons.
She forced me to motorboat.
The court document reads, according to Fox News.
I want to see an up close, slowed down video of his face, and I want I want to know if he wiggled his face. It's not forced. If he wiggled his face back and forth, I would make a case that it wasn't forced. I'd say he was wiggling his face. I don't think she forced that a whole lot. I think that he was kind of along for the ride.
You need to see that security video footage, don't you?
Yeah, I want to see up close, high resolution, high definition videos of that motorboating happening. I need evidence. I'm not just gonna take that.
Okay.
Like detailed images. I need a lot of images of this happening.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just end that one there.
I won't believe it until I see it. I'm gonna need to see that motorboating. If he wiggled his face even once, I would go as far as to saying that there wasn't a lot of forcing
If there wasn't just like
happening.
one side of his mouth smiling.
Yeah. Yeah, if he was smiling at any point, or if he wiggled his face, I think they should drop the charges.
Oh,
It's
man.
it's hard to strip in front of a room full of undercover cops. You know, they're looking.
But if she didn't know, well, I guess she found out.
I'm just saying. I bet you there was like 100 people in that room, and I bet you, except for the owner, 99 of them were undercover cops. I guarantee you.
And I'm sure there was maybe
you.
she had an undercover accomplice who was like, "Hey, Stormy, these guys over here." I just
What
wanna
was
let
the
you
thing that they
know."
told her? They said like, "Hey, if you tell, we're gonna ruin your life." Well, what do you think a misdemeanor charge for motorboating is? Trying to ruin someone's life. I would say that they're sticking to their guns on that threat. Can't even motorboat people nowadays.
I bet they were excited about that
You know
assignment.
what?
They're
That guy-
like, you got to go and check out Stormy Daniels at the strip club.
right.
Make sure she's behaving herself.
Oh no, not this job. Oh geez, no. Don't make me go. No.
Exactly.
No, please don't make me go to work. Oh geez, no. I don't wanna. I don't want to get forcibly motorboated. No.
I'm sure they were like trying to avoid
He should have
it,
been
though.
frowning. He should have just been like, no, not the motorboat. No. You know what I mean? You know that guy's a snowflake. I don't use that word very often. I know we use that to describe millennials, but the undercover
He
guy.
subjected himself to that position.
Yeah, I think so. He could have called in sick. He could have been like, I know what happens at those places. A lot of motorboating.
I mean, he should know.
There's a
I
bunch
mean,
of-
after what happened with Donald Trump, would you? I mean, it's like, oh, I don't even want to touch that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to even go
I just-
near that.
I can't believe anything anymore.
Oh, I know.
I just can't believe anything.
Oh, I know.
They act like one person in the whole. I bet you she was just stripping for an entire room full of undercover cops. Am I right?
I wonder if they were tipping her. I mean,
With
I'm just
confiscated
kinda-
drug
just kinda
money,
cute.
like pull
Right.
some of the drug money
Right.
from confiscation. We need some ones for this job.
Yeah, I need some change for this $100 bill. I'm gonna throw it at her.
Yeah, they're trying to get her. You know why? Is because President Trump
Oh no, he's all
had sex with
upset about
Stormy
it.
Daniels when his wife was pregnant.
I wonder
and
if she motorboated him. I don't even want to think about it.
it's not within him to just drop it. You know what I mean? Like just to drop something. Like if somebody says like you have tiny hands, he'll like never forget that and be like they're pretty big. Like years later, you know what I mean? You can't just drop it. It's just like it's ties into like the ego is that he can't just let it be. You're like, yeah, well, they got me that time. I guess they're all a little tiny. But, he's just like, gotta...
What were you saying about the music teacher on the way here? I'd never heard this before.
Oh, yeah. Like, everybody who ever grew up with Donald Trump said that he was a little turd.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely. He punched... When he was 8, He punched his music teacher because his music teacher, quote unquote, didn't know about music. He bragged about it. He beat people up. He was a little terrorist. He was a little terror. He was running around beating people up, making fun. It's just like they were kids, neighborhood kids. They're like, don't go hang out at the Trumps, and it's like that's how he is. That's the guy. And the thing about it is, it's not one of these like, who do you like? It's like who do you like more? Like, well, you didn't want Hillary. It's like, forget it. They're buddies, okay? Like Donald Trump plays golf with Bill Clinton. They drink, they whatever. They hang out together. They're party animals together. They're part of the same team. We got to stop acting like these people don't know each other. They got like Donald Trump has Bill Clinton's number on his phone. That's the kind of stuff that you don't think about. Like he knows him. They know each other. They know each other. Well, he's got Kim Jong-il's number on his phone. He's got Putin's number on his phone. These guys are all talking. They're all talking. Don't think for a second that they're all like, I'm really, like, flicking each other off and stuff. No, they're not doing that.
Well, when we come back, we may have been wrong about the inner workings of the minds of narcissists. Nice little segue.
We might be wrong.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back, y'all.
So what? That the way my mother made me.
KZSM.org and the incredible people at the City of San Marcos Main Street program are proud to present live music with the Kissing Alley Concert Series. KZSM.org is proud to host this free, family-friendly event that is located at 121 East Hopkins, across from the historic downtown courthouse in San Marcos. The Kissing Alley Concert Series is every third Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. and is a partnership with the Third Thursday Walkabouts. Come on out and support live local music and community radio at KZSM.org. See you downtown.
Yep. The Kissing Alley Concert Series. We have July 19th, Youngsville and the Revs. So this is these are two bands that'll be playing in the next Kissing Alley Concert Series. So, yep, that's the 19th. It's coming up quicker than you realize. Okay, so let's talk about narcissism. Okay. All right, science. This is from Science Alert.
I think that.
I'm still.
No, test. Okay.
Okay, we got you now.
Yeah.
There was a glitch in the button. See, this is why we need people to donate, so we don't have glitches. Was that you or me?
It was nobody. Just moving on.
It was Bob. Okay. All right. So, we may have been wrong about the inner workings of the minds of narcissists. Narcissists aren't hard to spot. You can tell them from the way they act, how they're raised, or where they live, even apparently their eyebrows. But where does this grandiose sense of self-importance and entitlement actually come from? A new study from psychologists in Germany suggests the answers might not be as simple as what some think. One common assumption people make about narcissists is that their self-loving exterior hides negative, unconscious feelings of self-loathing and insecurity. This is sometimes called the mask model of narcissism and is often attributed to the psychodynamics research of Austrian-American psychoanalyst Heinz Kohut.
Have you ever heard the expression, you mad 'cause you ugly?
I've heard of it, yes.
That's a good one. I like that one. That's an underused thing.
Oh, okay.
When somebody's all upset and you just go, you just mad 'cause you ugly. And
wait, let's get through this real quick.
I think that sums up the narcissistic thing.
It's,
Let's move on. We're talking to it.
No, but I think you're okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. But at least one influential study found this wasn't necessarily the cause. In 2007, an experiment led by psychologist Keith Campbell from the University of Georgia discovered narcissists actually exhibited positive implicit self-esteem, suggesting they didn't uniformly dislike themselves deep down inside. The good vibe wasn't 100%, the caveat being that the internal favorable self-views narcissists held were limited to things like feelings about their personal intelligence and status called the angenic agentic domains in reference to people's powers of agency. When it came to the communal domains, self-views about their kindness, morality, and emotional intimacy, narcissists scored neutrally. In some, it may be imprecise to conceptualize narcissism as a positive, explicit self-concept blanketing a negative, implicit self-concept, Campbell and his co-authors wrote in their paper. Rather, narcissists exhibit a somewhat imbalanced self at both explicit and implicit levels, with favorable agentic self-views that are not necessarily matched by favorable communal self-views. But a recent study by researchers from the University of Potsdam suggests we're still missing something here. To clarify the contradictory state of psychological literature on the inner lives of narcissists, psychologists Ramsey Fatuta and Michaela Schroeder-Abe attempted to replicate the 2007 results, this time recruiting 730 participants for the test, a sample more than 5 times greater than the original experiment's cohort. While Fatuta and Schroeder-Abe speak positively of the original influential study, they point out that to date, nobody has tried to systematically reassess its findings, and given given the crisis in science and especially psychology research, it was time to address that. As it turns out, the 2007 results could not be replicated, at least with regard to implicit self-views. In a series of computer-based World Association of Self-Esteem tests, the participants who scored high for narcissism didn't show an association with favorable implicit self-views about things like their status, intelligence, and ability to get ahead. I'll almost finish here. Our findings provide no support for the claim that narcissists possess positive implicit self-views in the agentic domain. The results of our replication study support the null hypothesis and suggest that narcissists actually possess neutral rather than positive implicit self-views on the agentic domain. So that's pretty complicated. So they're just like most people.
Except that they're jerks.
Yeah, so
I think we overthought narcissist. The word narcissist doesn't mean anything like to people. They're kind of like,
are you talking about the video that's floating around right now of the guy, the Trump supporter dude, who is like telling the Asian chick she was being ugly? Like when you were making that mention earlier?
No, I'm thinking about like early childhood playground insults.
Like bullies, you mean?
You mad because you ugly. You know,
Gosh, yes. Yeah.
You just mad because you ugly. You know what I mean? Like that.
I know the attitude you're talking about.
Oh, my God.
That drove me crazy.
No, but that's perfect. I really think that's a good insult. You know why you're mad? You're mad because you're ugly. That's
terrible.
Why you're mad.
That's terrible.
I've thought about this plenty. I've deduced that you are mad because you are ugly.
and then people will tell you, no, honey, she's upset because she thinks that she's ugly and she is mirroring that onto you.
Yeah, you know why you ugly? It's because you ugly inside and out. You're so ugly on the inside.
Yeah, they don't say that. They don't say that, do they?
Yeah.
The person
you
that's being
ugly
insulted.
You is ugly.
You're like,
just ugly
you're ugly
through
on
and
the
through.
inside and outside. So there.
You're just a whole bunch of ugly happening, and you act ugly too. You look ugly, you think ugly, you look ugly, and you're acting ugly. Just everything about you is ugly. I think the sooner you accept that, you might be friendly. At least you might be ugly on the inside and ugly on the outside, but at least you be friendly. You know, but the problem is that you're just ugly through and through. The whole thing is ugly about you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem with narcissists is that they're just all sorts of ugly.
I wonder if Donald Trump's done that on the playground.
I don't need a scientific study. I think that's self-evident. It's like,
well,
you know why you mad. You mad because you ugly.
Well, obviously the study is saying that their views about themselves are pretty neutral. Not like they don't highly favor themselves. They're just like everyone else.
Yeah, I know. I've
they
dealt
eat
with
peanut
enough.
butter on a spoon, for heaven's sakes. They're just humans.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't. We don't know why people are jerks. Look,
think-
you want to know my experience with the jerk earlier this week?
Yeah, I would love to know.
Oh my God, this is really bad. This is really bad. Okay, so there's this. There's this bag of Wendy's.
Yes, okay.
Fast food.
I saw.
Every
how
time I
upset
walk
you
my
were.
dog, I'm like, there's that expected bag of Wendy's. I've been expecting to see that bag of Wendy's fast food, and I just walk past it not every day. It's like every other day. It's like several times a week. And I go, wow, somebody is a litter bug. Okay,
Yeah,
guess what? I finally saw the person who was doing it. And it was this
You were like waiting for it.
I did. I was like, oh, okay, there it is. There's a woman parked there. That's where the bag of Wendy's is. She gets out of the car, and it's like this, fat black woman, and she's, I'm trying to get a look at her face, and she bends over and gives me a big moon shot. And she's just mooning me. I don't know. She's like rummaging around in her side door or
But
something
she doesn't
like that.
realize she's doing
Being
that to
observed?
you. Yeah, she doesn't realize.
I don't know. I don't know the
She doesn't
criminal.
care.
I don't care.
She
But
probably
I'm
doesn't
looking
care.
at like her butt. I'm like, she's gonna turn around any second. She's gonna turn around. I'm gonna see her face. I'm gonna see her face. But it was like that for 3 minutes. Eventually I got tired of looking at her butt, and I was seeing somebody leave, like a friend of mine who was leaving, and she's like, "Stop looking at her butt." And I'm like, it's not what you think, and and it's not what you think. That's the litter bug. That's the litter bug right there. That's her. And so anyway, sure enough, even though I was watching her, even though I had my eye on her, she drives off, and there's the bag of Wendy's. Funk. Right out the window, and she drives off, and I'm like, oh, there it is. But I got her license plate number, and I felt like that woman reporting the black people for the barbecue.
Oh.
I did. I was just like,
Bob
there's a
did it.
litter bug. Went to don'tmesswithtexas.org, and I said, there's a woman, it's a litter bug. It's just such a litter bug. She just puts up Wendy's right in front of the house every day. And not like exactly in front of my house.
Have you thought about maybe leaving the bag there and just writing on it, "I'm watching you"?
I thought about every cruel and unusual thing I could possibly do.
a fake bloody hand coming out of it.
The only thing I've done is go to whatever the Don't Mess with Texas thing and put her license in there. That's all. That's it. That's the only thing I did. Of course, you put that on Facebook and everybody's like, "Hey, I got some really insane ideas that involve stalking." And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do any of that.
Follow her.
Yeah, I'm going to follow her and then shove it back in her, So no, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not going to stoop to her level. I'm not. She's like cramming
That's
fast
interesting,
food
though.
down her gullet and lobbing it out of her window.
I can't believe
I'm not going to stoop to her level.
That's crazy, though. What is this? A path that you walk? How did you? Okay, remind me again. How did you discover that this
It's
was an ongoing
70
trend?
feet from my house.
Okay.
I can see this happening, and
That's just where she has her lunch break, you think, and she's just gonna put it there.
I don't think she
weird.
thinks about that. I don't think. I mean,
She
I
don't
really.
care.
I don't think. I think at the
I think
point
you
where
need to
you're
be
in your
standing
40s, she looked like
there.
she was maybe in her 40s.
Okay.
Okay. I think at the time where you're 40 years old and you're still lobbing garbage out the window, I don't think you're that smart. I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt anymore. I think you've had plenty of time to be like, oh yeah, littering is bad, and you did. It just didn't click. I'm looking at that. Where's Forrest Gump's IQ? Knock it down 10 points off of that, and you got the person who's cramming fast food in their face and lobbing it out their window. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't have any faith in the intellectual capacity of a person who does that.
That would bother me too, but I wonder if you would hate it more if she had mayo on her burger.
I mean, the way I see it is I'm just going to wait it out. I'm just going to wait it out. Because I know that she's one burger
I think
away
you need to just
from
be
a cardiac
standing there.
arrest.
Just
and
be
I'm just
standing
no.
there.
What? It'll be my luck. This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna watch her one day. Okay.
She's gonna
She's gonna.
You need to stand in the spot that she's
gonna.
in the
This is
general
what she's
area
gonna do.
that she
Okay.
does this
She's
in.
gonna be there. She's gonna cram that fast food right down her gullet, and then she's going to open the door and rummage through it, and then she's going to have a cardiac arrest and like die right there in front of me from fast food attacks.
That would be your luck.
And then I'm going to walk up to her and I'm going to be like, "Oh, hey, do you need me to throw that away for you?" As she's dying. That's like the only thing I got. I'm just going to wait her out at this point. I'm not going to do anything. "Would you like me to put that in the trash for you?" That's all I'm going to do. That'll just be the last thing she hears before she croaks.
Man, Bob, that's intense.
Yeah. I'm waiting her out any minute.
God. We go from narcissism to litter bugs.
"Would you like me to throw that away for you?" As she's like clutching her chest on the hot pavement.
Oh, no. All right, y'all. We'll be back.
We were ready for
KZSM.org. This is The Wiz. Vinyl Confessions coming to you every Monday night. New time, from 10 o'clock until midnight. We still play all the best of vinyl records that we find every week just for you. All those scratches, hisses, and pops that tell you it's legitimate vinyl. You can hear it every week, KZSM.org. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, we're back with the Slanted Sandwich. Okay. Oh.
Can I talk?
Okay. After growing world's longest nails out of spite, man sells 30-foot talons for enough to retire on. It took a mini circular saw to hack off the keratin talons that had been growing on Sridhar Chilal's left hand for the last 66 years. The 82-year-old Indian man told Sky News he started growing out his nails when he was 14. According to Chalal, it all began with a grudge after Chalal accidentally broke a teacher's nail while he was getting rowdy with a friend. The teacher told him he could not possibly understand the care needed to grow out long nails. He set out to prove that teacher wrong. I don't know.
It's almost like the teacher cursed him.
Right. I don't know.
"I curse you to grow your nails out forever."
He says, "I don't know whether the teacher is dead now or not, but I would definitely like to say that the thing for which you scolded me, I took it as a challenge and I have completed the challenge and now I am here," said Chalak. The grudge has earned him a Guinness World Record for the world's longest fingernails. According to Sky News, they have a combined length of 29 feet. The longest nail from his thumb is 77 inches.
He kind of coils that one up.
They're all coily. No, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it's like a spiral. For most of his life, Chalal's nails have made his life more difficult. He said he's had to wake up every half hour or so throughout the night in order to move his hand to the other side of the bed gingerly to avoid breaking the fragile rods. And his hand has been mostly useless because of the weight. When Chalal decided he was finally able to put his spite to rest and clip his nails, he reached out to Ripley's Believe It or Not franchise. He approached us when he was ready to cut his nails, Ripley's spokesperson Suzanne Smagala Potts told Gizmodo. He wasn't just going to sell his nails to anybody. He wanted them to be memorialized in a museum. The nails are now on display at the Ripley's Museum in New York City. So how much does 30 feet of nails get you? Unfortunately, Ripley's wouldn't divulge the actual price the company paid.
Barely $1 per.
But I will say
yeah.
It was a hefty figure, and it will be enough for Mr. Chalal to retire, Smagala Potts said.
Okay.
Growing your nails as a retirement plan? Who knew?
So I hope that he's the
that is
only
one
person
heck of a
trying
grudge.
Well, the thing about it is that I thought I didn't realize that there was a grudge thing behind it.
Mason tells me I'm sensitive. I'm like, no, this guy right here.
This guy. Well, see, I think what it is like when you have a culture, you're in a culture that is like heavily reinforcing the idea of reincarnation all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like,
that's a good point.
So he's just like, whatever. I'll spend one of my life growing nails. Whatever. I'll just be,
That was his cue.
One of millions of lives. I'm just gonna keep getting recycled back into it. What's it matter if there's one lifetime I spend just growing the nails? You know what I mean? That's how I see it. I think if you're kind of in that culture, you just be like, yeah, whatever. One life growing nails, whatever.
Man,
I can just spend like a whole lifetime sitting by this river, smoking ganja in a loincloth.
I mean,
because it's just one life,
Okay, but if reincarnation is a real thing, and it was like this was that moment with the teacher and messing up her nail was such a defining moment for him. Like it just sparked something in him. He's like, fine, I'm gonna grow out my nails. I'm gonna show her that I can do this better than she can.
Women can do that with men. They're like, you don't understand what it's like to have a baby. Why you just shut your mouth? You don't know. It's like, oh yeah, I'll show you. I'm gonna get with my scientist buddy, and we're gonna make a baby right here, just to spite you.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. You want to know what it's like? Men having babies. Oh, that's in the future. Guarantee you.
I mean, it's already happening. We've talked about it on the show.
They're gonna get the chemical thing happening. They're gonna be like, all right, now you can't say that anymore.
Men can breastfeed babies. Like with help of hormones, they sure can.
Yeah, so that answers the question, why do men have nipples? Because when the advancement of modern science, the lactations and the hormones, yeah, there's an answer for that. It's just uncomfortable.
Yep. Oh, man. Well, let's see what we've got here. Oh, archaeologists in Egypt discover mummification workshop. Bob, what was the last workshop you attended?
Hey, let's go to a workshop, guys. I'm doing a workshop on yoga lattes. With goats. Goat yoga lattes.
I've heard of this.
And wine. There will be wine and goats and cheese and yoga and Tai Bo and yoga.
Yeah.
And
maybe that was one of your incarnations. Was maybe a mummification guide.
Most of my incarnations end in me going like, it was just a joke. Don't wait. You don't have to do this. No. Oh, it burns. It burns. Oh, I'm not a witch. I'm not a witch. I'm not a witch. I'm not a witch. I just said a thing. I'm sorry. That's like 90% of my incarnations in like that.
Jeez. Oh my goodness. All right. So archaeologists in Egypt stumbled upon a new discovery dating back to more than 2,500 years ago near Egypt's famed pyramids at an ancient necropolis south of Cairo. So, we were just talking earlier, the first article saying that humanity's been in San Marcos 22,000 years ago. Okay, so this was 2,500 years ago. Just putting that into perspective. Although I think that there's a lot of people out there who think that Egypt, the ancient, all the, I cannot get it out of my mouth. All that stuff is a lot older than what we think. Okay, so the latest find announced at a press conference Saturday belongs to the Sattite Persian period from 664 to 404 BC. The site, which lies south of the Yunus Pyramid, was last evacuated more than 100 years ago in 1900. And the mummification workshop and embalmer's Cachet, is that my saying that? Cachet, holding a large collection of pottery vessels, bowls, and measuring cups were found. Archaeologists believe the findings will reveal more about the oils used in the mummification process in the 26th dynasty. We are in front of a gold mine of information about the chemical composition of these oils, said Ramadan Hussein, the head of the German Egyptian mission at the press conference. Among the artifacts found were fragments of mummy cartonages, canopic cylindrical jars, and marl clay and faints cups. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Many will be displayed.
Sounds high-tech.
No kidding. It's out of my realm. I need to go to a workshop to learn all this.
Yeah, I gotta go to one. mummification. Do I have to do this now, or can I wait till I'm dead? Just pull my brain out right now. I'm really not using it.
Yeah, many will be displayed in the under construction Grand Egyptian Museum, the first phase of which is expected to be inaugurated later this year. Archaeologists also found a gilded silver mask on the face of a mummy and a badly damaged wooden coffin. The mask, the first to be discovered since 1939, belongs to a priest. The finding of this mask could be called a sensation, Hussein said. Very few masks of the precious metals have been preserved to the present day because the tombs of most ancient Egyptian dignitaries were looted in ancient times.
Not only that, they were probably looted 15 minutes after they were buried. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they were.
They were looking at that like, oh, yeah, I took a job as a grave digger. I got all the stuff. Hey, what'd you say we go back there later tonight and dig it back up?
Yep. Down the 30-meter deep shaft is a host of burial chambers carved into the bedrock, lining the sides of 2 hallways. There lie several mummies, wooden coffins, and sarcophagi. It's only the beginning, added Antiquities Minister Khaled Al-Anani. He told reporters that the sites will likely yield more discoveries after further evacuation. Egypt has gone at great lengths to revive its vital tourism industry, still reeling from the political turmoil that followed a 2011 popular uprising.
Yeah, it didn't help.
The Antiquities Ministry has boosted discoveries in recent years in hopes of bolstering tourism, a major pillar of foreign currency. So I would love to go to Egypt and see the pyramids. But anyway, we are already due for a break, y'all. We'll come back. All right.
I guess.
Wake up to the Morning Glory Show with Tina every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Let's wakey, eggsy bakey with a fabulous mix of Christian and inspirational music and contemporary, rock, country, hip-hop, and more. Listen out for my community events about what's going on around town and hit the reset button with my Meditation Minute. All of that and more on the Morning Glory Show from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on kzsm.org.
All right, we're back. With the slanted sandwich.
You can tell because the commercials are over.
Yeah, you
and
get
the music.
You get into that routine. You just know. Okay, so Iceman's last meal was high-fat, high-calorie feast. Okay, so a lot of people who are on the keto diet right now, it works. It's very effective. Not always good for the liver, but you know, if you kind of take into mind what, you know, our ancestors used to live on, you're going to be in good shape. All right. So this is from the BBC. So goat's fat and wild venison plus sides of ancient wheat and bracken. Bob, did you find out what bracken was?
I'm on it.
Okay. It's not a menu likely to appear on MasterChef, but for some of our ancestors, it was a nutritious feast.
What's wrong? Bracken not good enough for you.
Exactly. I can imagine.
Shut up and eat your bracken.
Yeah, scientists have revealed that the Last Supper of Otzi, the Iceman, was well balanced, but also alarmingly high in fat.
It's a fern.
It's a fern?
He ate ferns. Bracken. It's a fern.
A guy that old probably did live on ferns. So
I didn't realize you could eat ferns.
Well, maybe we should try it. We
Maybe
should
that's what did him in.
We need to
He's
make a
like,
bracken sandwich for the show.
I wonder how that fern tastes over there. Oh God, I made a mistake.
I gotta go sit on the toilet for a while after that one.
Oh, I forgot nature kills you.
The man lived 5,300 years ago and met his death on a frozen glacier.
I was good on the goat fat. Well, eating that fern for dessert. Ugh.
Gosh.
It tore me up.
Gosh, his body was preserved in the ice for millennia until it was discovered in 1991. Scientists have been able to find out about many aspects of his life, including what he ate before he died. They say he filled his stomach with fat from wild goat, meat from red deer, an ancient grain known as acorn, and toxic fern. How much fat? The fat content was 50%, which is much higher than the 10% in the average modern diet. And, quote, if you consider the altitude...
I disagree. I think we're Americans...
Probably more than that,
You know what?
yeah.
I know what Americans really eat, okay?
About 25 to 30%.
I know what Americans really eat, and they're not... I tell you what, you're going to find some old Wisconsin guy thawing out 5,000 years from now. He went missing, and they're going to look at his diet, and they're going to be like, whoa, this guy ate a lot of fat.
It was hard to survive back then.
This guy, and he ate a fern too. He ate everything. He ate a fern. He ate some goats.
Gosh.
We found all sorts of stuff in this thawed out Wisconsin guy.
All right.
Fell into his basement, and look how much fat he ate.
Okay. Okay, if you consider the altitude where the Iceman was hunting, you need this kind of energy supply, said Dr. Frank Maxner of the Urach Research Institute for Mummy Studies in Bolzano, Italy. And the best way to do this is by eating fat. This gives you the necessary energy to survive in this harsh environment. What does this say about the diet of our ancestors? The study, published in Current Biology, gives a rare glimpse into what was on the menu during the Copper Age. The Iceman's diet has been analyzed before, but not in such detail. The latest investigation is based on looking at his stomach contents. Surprisingly, this organ was discovered only recently, as it was not in the normal place due to the way his body was mummified over time. The scientists were able to deduct that the fat came not from dairy products, but from the Alpine ibex, a species of wild goat that lives in the mountains of the European Alps. His diet was a well-balanced mix of carbohydrates, proteins, and also fat, said Dr. Maxner. Quite astonishing also was the high fat content he ingested. Nutritious, but how did it taste? The meal would have sustained Otzi on his snowy trek, but it may not have tasted too good. It's goat fat, and it's hard to imagine how that tastes, said Dr. Maxner. It's definitely not as tasty as we would eat nowadays. Considering that there was also no salt, the pure taste of this meat, this fat, and all these components, I think it's hardly edible. Although the Iceman did not have to contend with processed food, there was a negative side to his diet. He already had signs of blocked arteries at the time of his death. He may have died in battle, as he had several wounds to his body and was carrying weapons, including a copper axe. He may have also been dosing himself with herbal medicine, as the researchers found traces of bracken, a type of fern, in his stomach. Alternatively, he may have wrapped his food up in fern leaves and ingested the toxic spores by mistake. The wild meat may have been eaten fresh or perhaps dried. Okay, so I guess they didn't realize that the fern was toxic.
I don't think that was Otzi's normal diet. I think what happened is he got shot in the back with an arrow and was eating everything that he could
around him, right?
I mean, you know, how far down in the digestional tract? Like, he caught him on his worst day.
I mean,
he was literally fleeing from people trying to kill him.
I'm sure that
like,
goat
no time for diet. There's a fern. There's a goat. I'm going to make the best of this.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation. I shouldn't have stole that copper axe.
But he had oats, I think, wasn't it? Let me see.
He might not have been a thief. He might have been a good guy for all we know. But
he was stuck in a glacier.
Hiding out. I'm just going to wait out this storm. Turns out the storm would never end.
That goat did not help him survive. Neither did the
He was probably
cold.
chasing that goat, and then somebody shot him. That's my goat. Phew. Ow, right in the shoulder.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, he ate it, so, or who knows? They weren't sure if the goat meat had been dried or not.
Whose goat it was.
I guess you're really hungry back then.
That's my humping goat you just shot. Otzi.
Uh-oh.
Otzi. Oh. You just shot my humping goat.
Boy, bestiality is...
You're in trouble now.
Okay, moving on. I'll talk about that one amongst yourself. Okay.
Hey, can I borrow your goat?
No. That's my goat.
Ice women are pretty scarce these days. I was wondering if I could borrow your goat.
Oh my god.
It's going to cost you. What's it going to cost? 1 copper axe.
To the back.
That's my copper axe.
Oh no, wait, no, that was his weapon. What did they find in this bag? Like
arrowhead.
An arrowhead.
Stone arrowhead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it had a real stone.
All right, so China claims to have invented laser assault rifle that can burn human skin from half a mile away. Okay, so the reason I wanted to talk about this article is because now I'm starting to wonder about the sonic weapons that they're using and how much maybe that they have a distance on those weapons as well. Okay, so OddityCentral.com says Chinese media recently reported about a new high-tech laser assault rifle that can allegedly fire an energy beam that cannot be seen by the naked eye but can cause instant carbonization of human tissue.
Caramelization?
Carbonization of human tissue from up to a half a mile away. This is called the ZK-ZM500. The laser rifle was developed by scientists at the Xi'an Institute of Optics and Precision Mechanics at the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Shanghai province and is apparently ready for mass production, with its first unit scheduled to be given to anti-terrorism squads and the Chinese armed police. It has been described as a non-lethal weapon.
Bzz, bzz.
Youch.
I got your foot. Bzz. Ow.
That can
dance. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Dance. Bzz.
That can be used in various situations, like hostage situations where police would fire through windows at targets and temporarily disable them while other teams moved in to free the hostages.
How about you just give all the hostages laser guns? I mean, if everybody had a laser gun, it'd be kind of hard to take
and light the whole guy on fire that close.
Everybody, set your phasers to, get that guy. Bzz.
It definitely, I wonder if it's like a toaster oven. Like, do you want to bake it or do you want to toast it?
Why is it the police are always, they're like, well, we should have this and nobody else should? You know what I think also might be interesting is if everybody just had the same technology.
It definitely wouldn't be the first time that a sci-fi technology became a reality, but in this particular case, many believe that laser rifles are still impossible in real life. The South China Morning Post reported that the ZK-ZM500 laser assault rifle is about the size of an AK-47 and is powered by a rechargeable lithium battery pack similar to those found in smartphones. It has a capacity of 1,000 laser shots, each shorter than 2 seconds. While the weapon could not kill a person with just one shot, pressing the fire button continuously could allegedly cut a hole through a person's body.
You gotta get them right in the jugular.
Oh, God.
You slice open that jugular with a laser beam.
Oh, no.
End of story.
The ZK-ZM Laser, the technology company owned by the Institute in Xi'an, has been working on this laser rifle, released footage of it being tested on a rooftop in Xi'an. Many people think it's nothing more than propaganda, and they do make some interesting points. There's just no way that a laser-powered lithium-ion battery that a person could carry would be capable of producing the kind of heat described at point-blank range, let alone at 800 meters. TechCrunch wrote, that's because of attenuation. Lasers, unlike bullets, scatter as they progress, making them weaker and weaker. Attenuation is non-trivial at anything beyond, say, a few dozen meters. By that time, you get out to 800, the air and water the beam has traveled through reduces it to a fraction of its original power. This SCMP article actually mentions the fact that in 2009, a U.S. attempt to design a handheld laser gun resulted in something that only works on nudists because its beam was too weak to even penetrate a shirt. but adds that China has since taken the technology to new heights by investing massively in research and development. So there you go. Oh man, that is just not surprising.
You know, I like expanding foam. Have you ever got expanding foam on you?
I think we've talked about this.
I think that's the future, is just spraying some expanding foam on the assailant, and then the police will ask you, like, what did the...
Maybe just putting it down their throat.
What did the perpetrator look like? And you'll be like, it looks kind of light yellow and globular.
Yeah, that stuff's weird. But I'd say it's a pretty effective...
It'll ruin your day. It'll absolutely ruin your day. Get it in your hair.
Are you talking about the guy that had the foam in his hair?
It'll ruin your day. There's nothing good about expanding foam.
No. All right. We'll be back, y'all.
Here in San Marcos, you could come to the river and jump in, or go downtown and take a run around to see all the local merchants. But if you want to feel San Marcos, you need to tune in on Tuesday nights at 9 to 10 p.m. and listen to Downtown Funk with Sammy the Bull, playing all the top hits, top grooves, obscure funk from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So if you want to get your groove on and reminisce, or if you want to feel like it was back in the day, tune in on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m.
All right, we're back, and we're just going to go ahead and jump to our last article real quick. So this is, I can't say how true this story is, but, oh, did you have something to say, Bob?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, woman found alive and wearing same clothes 1.5 years after drowning. There are dramatic discoveries of missing people, like the announcement today, or when this was published, that 12 young soccer players and their coach were found alive 10 days after disappearing in a cave system in northern Thailand. And then there are mysterious and unexplainable discoveries, like the announcement of an Indonesian woman this week, or out of Indonesia this week, that a woman who was washed out to sea almost 18 months ago was found alive on the same beach wearing the same clothes she had on when she disappeared. Multiple Indonesian media sources report that this woman, who was 52, was and she was vacationing at Sepatis Beach in Sukabumi, West Java on January 8th, 2017, when a huge wave carried her out far beyond the point where onlookers felt safe swimming out to attempt to rescue the screaming woman. Professional search and rescue teams found nothing until a week later, when a badly decomposed body washed ashore. Nining's family denied it was her because it lacked a unique birthmark and the fingernails were different, and a DNA test proved them correct. Nonetheless, all rescue operations were called off and the woman was pronounced dead by the authorities. Fast forward to late June 2018, an elder male relative, either an uncle or grandfather, Google translations of the reports differ, had a recurring dream where the woman told him she was alive and directed him to a beach near where she disappeared. A group of relatives accompanied him to the beach where, after searching for many hours, they found her at 4 a.m. on July 1st, 500 meters from where she disappeared, unconscious, covered in sand, and wearing the same clothes she reportedly had on 18 months ago.
Is that right there, that she was covered in sand, is the reason why, sharks didn't eat her?
It's because she had sand on her?
Yeah. Like covered in sand, why is she wearing the same clothes as she was 1.5 years ago? It probably had something to do with getting covered in sand.
It's interesting. But where has she been? A spokesperson for the Siam Sudin Hospital said there were no signs of drowning in the woman's lungs, and she appeared to be physically healthy and responsive to instructions to move her hands and feet. Suara.com reports that residents around the beach claim they saw someone who resembled Nining either on the roadside by the beach or looking for a bathroom. In both cases, the woman was reportedly dazed and not interested in conversation. Another witness remembered the day of the disappearance and recalled that no one looked at a nearby inn to see if she maybe had come ashore unnoticed and gone there to recover. Did Nining have a reason to disappear for a while? One report says her job was to go from house to house looking for people who needed a place to save their money. She took care of their savings and reportedly returned it for vacations and other reasons. Nining's brother claimed that any money she was saving for other people had been dispersed before she disappeared. Was this a botched suicide attempt? And why was she wearing the same clothes? There was no report that they looked like she'd had them on the entire time. Did she travel in time? So many questions. So yeah, I don't know. This is, like I said, this came from various Indonesian
She was still alive.
reports. She was still alive,
But she didn't have the birthmark.
Yeah,
her nails look different. DNA said
it wasn't a match.
It was not a match.
Right.
It's another woman wearing her clothes.
That's very strange. Yeah, but it could be a woman who might have like schizophrenia.
So a woman drowned, and another woman
obvious.
shows up wearing her clothes. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, like
That's
I said,
what it seems like. I mean, there's a different DNA's not matching.
Yeah. No,
It really seems like a different woman.
That's kind of why I left this article to the end. It just seemed a little too weird.
Found some clothes that washed
Yeah.
up on the beach. That's
I
weird.
don't
But you
know.
had that other story about the guy who walked out on the ice, disappeared for 1 year. What's that story?
Oh, I wish I remembered his name, but he ended up becoming a psychologist. But this guy just disappeared for I think I
A
can't
year.
remember.
It was like a solid year.
It was it was for a while, and then he just returned, and nobody really he's not talking about it. Like,
Have you ever heard of the movie Fourth Kind?
No.
I watched that.
Is
recently.
it pretty good?
Yeah, they use a bunch of psychologist videotapes, actual videotapes, and then they made a movie of reenacting the tapes.
Is
that
this
were
on
being
Netflix?
recorded. Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Fourth Kind, pretty good.
Wow, that's
But
really
it has
interesting.
to do with like alien abduction.
I still, hands down, love the book Communion. It's scary. It's really genuinely scary.
One of
but
the women that
it's
was
good.
the main character of the movie is a psychologist.
Okay.
And that was her struggle with it, is like, you know, she was sent kind of like doing research on it and it started like happening to her, and she started putting it together that the whole town was being affected.
Yeah.
And they were all seeing the same thing.
I haven't talked to any. Well, I take that back. I have talked to somebody who may be having some of those experiences, but didn't necessarily delve into that, but kind of talked around it. Like UFOs would be hovering over her house. The neighbors would call and say that they were hovering over her house. Like it wasn't just her. It was other witnesses seeing this, you know. And she works for the city. She's very smart, you know. So don't discount these
the
people.
videotapes that would record herself while she was sleeping, and then there'd be like screaming and all this other noise, and then they broke it down and they realized that the language that was being spoken was Sumerian.
Weird.
Yeah. Pretty weird.
That is strange. A lot of
Isn't that
people,
weird?
you know, but a lot of people will poo-poo this stuff, you know, and it's understandable. I get it, you know, but I say don't.
Who is poo-pooing
just,
Sumerian
you know,
screaming?
It could happen to you. Those who poo-poo. It could. It really could. So
It's all fun and games till somebody shows up in your room speaking Sumerian.
no one's gonna believe you. All right, y'all. Well, it's it for the show. Tune in next Monday. We also have our encore shows happening on Fridays from 1 to 3. So if you miss it, you can tune in again later.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Well, take care.
Yep. Have a good day.
And stay weird. Bye.
Bye.